What we have now is a very special session. We're going to talk about how to shift gears from impact ventures to influential ventures, the creative entrepreneur, turning influence into a sustainable brand power. Our next speaker is a perfect example of this transformation, Oliver Trevena. He's the CEO and founder of Caliwater, a brand that turned a simple cactus water concept into a winning, recognizable, health-forward beverage brand in the US. And if you just go onto the website, you'll see their slogan, "Why coconut when you can cactus?" Absolutely amazing. And they have really turned out to be a global lifestyle movement that is redefining wellness and culture. And it's no surprise to me because their co-founder is Vanessa Hudgens. So Oliver's story doesn't stop there. He's a Hollywood actor and he's building a bridge between entertainment, investment and purpose-driven business. And you may have seen him actually on the screen on quite a few films, whether it's Plane alongside of Gerald Butler, Grand Isle with Nicolas Cage, or one of his latest ones, The Paradox Effect. They are all just a few highlights from his remarkable career. And he's here in conversation at Expand Norsa then with no one else than our moderator, David Shing. He is described by Forbes as a storyteller who identifies emerging trends and inspires clients to think differently. So let's give them a warm welcome, David Shing and Oliver Trevena. Welcome! Great to have you, David. Great to have you, Oliver. Fantastic.
Hey. Hey guys, how are we doing? Hello humans. Hello. Hey Oliver.
How you doing?
So here's the thing that we're going to jump in because we have a glorious 15 minutes. Before we do that, quick show of hands. Anybody in a startup mode? Who's an entrepreneur here? Anybody work in marketing? Anybody work for brands? Okay, across the board, ripper. There are 3 things that I want to cover in 15 minutes with Oliver. By the way, he's an absolute super talent. This would be a lot more easy for me if all of you all sit in just there, but it's not going to happen, but bless you. So 3 things. I grew up in the world of the 4 Ps. Does anybody know what that means? Product, price, place, promotion, all that rubbish. Those days, well and over. Because the 3 things that I want to cover with this gentleman is simply this. 3 Ps. I'm going to reposition them as personality, this bloody legend, purpose, why we're here on planet Earth, profitability. So why don't we start with profitability first? I'm going to get to the other 2 because profitability hopefully is a 10-second soundbite. When you think about being the entrepreneur that you are, where is profitability in the equation of evaluating what you invest in?
I mean, it's pretty high up there, right? Let's be honest. It's as high up there as it goes. You know, it's what's going to keep the vision going. You know, you need to be profitable, but I guess it's as long as, I mean, when I invest, as long as I believe in the founder enough, that he's got enough passion. There's another P. You see what I did there? As long as he's got enough passion and will to get there, then there's a chance it'll be profitable. Because as we know, whatever company you're in, whether it's tech, CPG, or anything, you know, there is a path to get there. You're not instantly profitable.
I'm going to contest that.
Okay. I knew
By
you
the way,
would.
when Oliver talks about if I believe in the founder is their passion in that 4th P, he's talking about himself in the 3rd person because he's the founder of a very successful brand called Caliwater. How much do you think that profit is actually an outcome of something you really believe in? Because Caliwater, have you guys heard of that brand? It's an incredible, well, I'll let you know what it is, but it's a cactus juice. But what's phenomenal about this thing is that you decided to break into a category that most people would say is incredibly saturated. It's a highly profitable business, but on paper it wouldn't have been when you decided to discover it. So can you walk us through that path a little bit? Why'd you start it?
Yeah, I mean, you're right, it is a tough industry. I think every single person that I respect in business that I was surrounding myself with at the time told me, stay away from beverage. They said, we'll back you in anything but beverage. And I chose to do beverage. I guess I like the challenge. And I think that's what probably a lot of founders, we have in common is there is risk, there is challenge, but I think we all have that, whatever the part of that our brain that is, that just makes us want to get out of our comfort zone and push ourselves. Because that's what it is. It's constant and it doesn't change. People warn me. They're like, well, even if you make this successful, the stresses will be there. They just change in a different way. And it's growing and growing. And with that come, new challenges, more employees, everything, So it's, I guess you have to have the passion, because if you don't, you'll end up quitting 6 months in.
Hang on 1 second. Let's back that up. How did you discover this product? It is pickle pear? Prickly pear. Prickly pear. Does anybody know what a prickly pear is? It's a fruit that grows on a cactus. So how did you discover this thing, and how did you determine to put it inside a can?
I mean, the reason I started searching was basically I was drinking a lot of coconut water. I was a big coconut water drinker. And I would realize through blood paneling, through my tests, everything that I was doing at the time, I love the longevity space. My sugar levels were coming back extremely high. And I was like, there must be a mistake. I'm pretty healthy. And we tracked it back to coconut water. I would have one in the morning, I'd have one in the afternoon, drink one with my dinner. And I was doing about 60 to 70 grams of sugar a day just from my coconut water. So I was like, there must be something else out there that hasn't been tapped into. I had a lot of friends from Latin America, and they would always bring up prickly pear. Like if their kid had a stomach issue, it'd be like prickly pear. If the skin, prickly pear.
Wow.
It's kind of this super fruit that a lot of people, like a lot of things in our world, people know about and other people don't. And so for me, I went on that deep dive. At the time, there was one other cactus water on the market, which was another reason why people said, don't do it. They were like, you're late to the game. There's already a cactus water doing really well. But I remember getting that cactus water. I ordered it immediately online and was like, this can be done better, And that's what we continue to do, was how do we make the product better? How do we make it taste better? How do we make the story better? And how can we continue to, increase awareness? And now, we overtook that first to market cactus water a while ago, and we're number one on the market. And it's been, I was about to say it's been fun. That would have been a lie. It's been an adventure.
Maybe the right word is rewarding.
Rewarding.
Because
it's been rewarding.
Yeah.
But,
okay, so let me talk about personality then, and then I'll get to purpose later. Personality. You are your own personality, clearly, and you must surround yourself with the company you enjoy, which are other personalities. If you were looking back when you started this project of purpose through this water, did you think that I'm just going to tap into a bunch of people that I know, I'm going to use celebrity power here? Or was there a totally different way of thinking about the strategy?
I mean, obviously, I'm from the Hollywood world, so there's an element of that I'm surrounded by those kind of people. So, I'm aware that helps the brand. But the main focus from day one with the company was the product. That was it. Because I kind of think the celebrity world, the influencer world, it's like the toppings on the cake, but if you don't have the cake, eventually it's just all going to, crumble. I don't know why I used the cake analogy, but clearly I'm hungry. But that's kind of what it is. So, we focused on the product. Myself and my co-founder, Vanessa Hudgens, who's obviously also from the same world of Hollywood, we wanted to make sure that we weren't a celebrity gimmick. We didn't want to be a gimmick. We wanted to be a product that stood on its own. And whether there was, amazing voices behind it or not, people would still want to buy this drink and want to buy it again. And that was important. And then, the rest kind of just happened organically. We would obviously send boxes of the drink to our friends in the industry. And most of the time, the response we got was, we love this. How can we invest? How can we get involved? And that's how we now have 25, 30, major names on the cap table that have all invested their own capital. So there's a strategy that you guys should walk away from. Simply is this: sticking a celebrity on a brand is never going to work unless they, one, consume the brand and they believe in it. Those two lenses is something that we always talk about in our industry of startups, because otherwise it comes off as being really false. And in a world where there's too much false, you need something that drives. If I ever speak to Oliver about his product, he always talks about the performance of it.
So it solves a problem. That problem is there's too much sugar in kids' diets. That whole thing is rubbish. So you'll find products that he launches also age down. They're not just for him, a unique human specimen of himself. But when you think about it, what's the pressure for you to step away from that brand and not use your celebrity pool and actually just let the star power of the product become more relevant to others? And as somebody who's obviously very creative, is it somewhat hard for you to do because you're your own personality and your own creative force?
It is. I think I'm a big fan of surrounding yourself with people that know more than you, you know? It's that old school way of thinking, but it's something that has helped me massively when I do it, you know? And so as far as building a beverage brand, it's been about building the team, you know? Having a president and an operations person that know more than me, and I stay well out of that part of the business, you know? They kind of tell me what we should be doing, and I trust them. If I don't trust them and I don't believe what they're saying, then I need to get someone else in the position that I do trust. So it's really about building your team. You know, I love the creative side. I love the storytelling part. I love the brand design. I know what I'm good at, and that's what I'm good at. So that's what I kind of stick to. I don't really want to learn about, you know, supply chain. You know, if there's issues, let me know. But otherwise, I kind of stay out of it. You know, you go find the prickly pear. You know, keep the taste great, and we're good.
You know, the good story about that is you don't have to wear a hairnet when you go in to check out the production factories or anything like that anymore, which is kind of a cool vibe.
It wouldn't matter anyway, right? So we'll be fine. Yeah.
So let me ask a question specifically about purpose. When you think about the practicality of building a brand, wanting to launch something in a sector that already had another competitor, how important is giving back? How important is setting a legacy? Because this brand is on a momentum. Yeah. You don't get to a $100 million brand or value of $100 million overnight. You do it because you have a passion for it. How important is purpose, and does it drive a big part of what you do and invest in?
Yeah, I mean, purpose has always been a big part of, you know, us launching the brand. It's a sustainable product. You know, the crop itself uses 80% less water. It's obviously a lot more sustainable than a coconut. So there's that play. And, you know, from day one, we wanted to give back. So our first partner was No Kid Hungry. We now work with American Forests. We have an organization that we work with called Olive Crest, which is child adoption. You know, we've always, I think giving back is one of the best parts of being in business, you know. And then we just continue to try and do that. You know, I think it's massively important because away from the success, there's a core that's, you know, feels good for your soul, you know, because otherwise business can get very, as you know, feels like you're just on a hamster wheel and you're like, why am I doing this? Even when a company does get bigger and it does get more successful and you do get more money, you're kind of like, what's this all for? At least if you have a purpose, there's that feeling that you're like, okay, I know why I'm doing this, you know?
So I have some advice for you. And it's simply this. This is my second time I've been to GITEX. Here's what I've noticed in my time here. One, I love the fact there are technology here that talks about helping the environment. Love everything about that. The second thing is purpose at the heart of it. I see that on the startup stages. So as you wander around, the third thing is the diversity of countries that are here. It's not just speaking the same language. There's a lot of similar ideas, so we could actually have a diversity of thought, but the diversity of country, the diversity of understanding that the environment's important and giving back. Those three things is why I was intrigued by having a chat with Oliver, because that's at the heart of what he does. At the front of this, it looks like another actor that's put their name on a can and they're pushing a product, but he founded this thing. So if you're a founder in this room or you represent a brand, look at the DNA of who actually represents the brand and see if it's something you can live in, because longevity is something that we suffer from, particularly when we're around all this tech world. So I have one last question for you, which is, if there is any other advice that you could give people as they think about either investing or inventing, is there some advice or nugget of truth that you live and die by?
It's a big question to end with.
In exactly 26 seconds.
Yeah, 25 seconds to answer this. The clock is ticking. I think just literally sit with it and really make the decision that you're willing to give it kind of, you know, blood, sweat, and tears. And don't assume that it's going to happen overnight, because it might, but if it doesn't, you're going to be very disappointed and you've got a long road ahead. And I think if you believe in something enough, you'll enjoy the journey that 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, however long it is, won't seem like a lifetime.
I love that advice. Guys, thank you very much for having us. Oliver Trevena, how
Thank you.
incredible.